In a world where words are often rehearsed and promises are easily spoken, intentions can become difficult to discern. Scripture teaches that wisdom is not found in what is said, but in what is consistently honored. Boundaries are not walls built out of fear, they are filters that reveal truth. When biblical boundaries are applied, intentions surface quickly without confrontation, manipulation, or confusion. These boundaries do not test love, they expose motives. Respect for God's timing is one of the clearest boundaries because it immediately reveals whether intentions are rooted in purpose or driven by desire. Scripture consistently teaches that what comes from God unfolds with order, patience, and wisdom. Anything that demands urgency, pressure, or emotional acceleration steps outside that pattern. When time is honored, motives are tested without a single accusation or argument. A person who values alignment with God understands that rushing creates imbalance. Patience is not passivity, it is discipline. The Bible associates self-control with spiritual maturity, showing that restraint is evidence of inner strength, not weakness. When boundaries around timing are established, reactions begin to speak louder than promises. Calm acceptance reflects respect. Frustration reveals entitlement. God's design for relationships is intentional, not impulsive. Waiting protects clarity, faith, and emotional health. Someone operating with genuine seriousness will never view patience as an obstacle, but as preparation. Time allows character to surface, consistency to be observed, and integrity to be proven. Those who are sincere recognize that anything meaningful is worth building carefully. Pressure to move faster than peace allows is often disguised as passion, but Scripture distinguishes passion from wisdom. Wisdom listens, observes, and waits for confirmation. Desire demands immediacy and resists limits. When God's timing is honored, confusion decreases and discernment sharpens. This boundary works because it requires no confrontation. It simply stands firm. Those aligned with God's process remain steady. Those motivated by self-interest grow restless. Waiting exposes priorities, reveals discipline, and separates intention from impulse, allowing truth to rise naturally without force or persuasion. Honor without compromise reveals intentions with striking clarity because it tests whether values are respected only when convenient or upheld regardless of outcome. Scripture presents righteousness as non-negotiable, not flexible based on emotion or desire. When moral and spiritual standards are clearly established, the response that follows uncovers what truly drives the heart. Respect never negotiates integrity, and genuine intention never requires lowering standards. Biblical values exist to protect, not restrict. Purity, honesty, and obedience to God create safety for the heart and clarity for the mind. A person who understands this will respond to boundaries with care, not resistance. Respect shows itself through patience, encouragement, and consistency. Pressure, persuasion, or subtle manipulation signal a different motive entirely. The Bible teaches that honor is demonstrated through actions, not declarations. Words of admiration mean little when behavior contradicts them. When standards are challenged, it reveals whether attraction is centered on character or personal gain. True respect seeks to preserve dignity, not test limits. It recognizes that what is built on compromise cannot be sustained with integrity. Lowering values is often justified as love, but Scripture never defines love as the abandonment of truth. Love protects holiness and upholds obedience. Anyone who genuinely values purpose will never place another in conflict with God. Instead, encouragement toward righteousness becomes natural. This boundary exposes whether interest is rooted in selflessness or self gratification. Consistent honor demonstrates spiritual maturity and emotional discipline. Resistance to moral limits reveals impatience with God's authority. When compromise is requested, intention is no longer hidden, because what someone asks to sacrifice reveals what is valued most. Accountability and transparency function as powerful boundaries because truth does not fear exposure. Scripture emphasizes walking in the light, showing that integrity thrives where honesty is practiced openly. When accountability is present, intentions are revealed without interrogation or suspicion. Openness allows actions to be seen clearly, and clarity always brings discernment. A person with sincere intentions understands that accountability strengthens character rather than restricting freedom. Willingness to be transparent demonstrates confidence in purpose and alignment between words and actions. There is no need for secrecy when motives are pure. Consistency remains steady whether observed or unobserved because integrity does not depend on privacy. The Bible consistently associates secrecy with confusion and deception, not wisdom. Avoidance of accountability often appears as defensiveness, vagueness, or selective honesty. These behaviors reveal discomfort with truth rather than a desire for peace. Someone who is serious welcomes structure, clarity, and responsibility because these elements reinforce trust. Transparency also reveals emotional maturity. Honest communication does not hide behind ambiguity or half-truths. It speaks plainly, listens carefully, and remains stable under scrutiny. When accountability is suggested, reactions become revealing. Calm acceptance reflects alignment. Resistance exposes fear of exposure. Godly intention seeks light, not shadows. Walking openly invites correction, growth, and alignment with God's standards. When accountability is rejected, it reveals a preference for control over character. This boundary works quickly because it requires no accusation, only consistency. Truth stands comfortably in the light, while hidden motives struggle to remain unseen. Biblical boundaries are not designed to repel what is genuine. They function as instruments of clarity that bring truth to the surface. Scripture consistently shows that what is aligned with God is never threatened by righteousness. When limits are established with wisdom and consistency, false intentions lose the ability to hide behind charm, words, or emotion. What remains is reality exposed without conflict. Boundaries remove confusion by eliminating ambiguity. They create an environment where motives must stand on their own strength. Anyone operating with sincerity experiences boundaries as protection, not restriction. Peace increases because there is nothing to manipulate or conceal. Where truth exists, there is stability, and where stability exists, there is trust. The Bible teaches that discernment is a form of wisdom, not suspicion. Discernment does not accuse, it observes. Boundaries allow observation over time, revealing patterns rather than isolated moments. Consistency becomes visible. Integrity becomes evident. Intention reveals itself naturally through behavior, not explanation. What is false depends on access, control, and compromise. When those elements are removed, motivation is exposed. Boundaries do not need to interrogate or demand proof. They simply stand firm. The response to that firmness carries all the necessary information. Scripture warns against guarding the heart too late rather than too carefully. Boundaries applied early prevent emotional entanglement with unclear intentions. They protect peace, faith, and direction. When God's principles are honored, outcomes align with wisdom rather than regret. Anything rooted in truth will remain. Anything rooted in deception will withdraw. Boundaries act as a filter that separates desire from dedication, impulse from intention, and appearance from substance. Through this process, clarity replaces confusion and discernment becomes effortless.